Hello and welcome to this quick installation guide for WooCommerce on an OVH performance server. So, what do you need to start your installation? An OVH account that you can open at ovh.com or .es, .co.uk, .fr depending on your location. A domain name that you can buy at OVH, an OVH performance server. You can start with a performance 1 and then upgrade as necessary. A private database. You can get one on OVH. I recommend at least 1 GB of RAM. An FTP client. For us it will be FileZilla. A text editor. For me it will be Sublime Text. WordPress installation files that you can find on wordpress.org/downloads. If you are new in web technologies, don't wait for this. You won't burn your house whatsoever following these instructions. The domain name. If you don't have one yet, you can buy one on OVH. It's quite easy. You go to Web Cloud, Order, and you order a domain name. You search a name that you thought through, and if it's available, then you can just buy it. I won't make you the offense of showing you how to use a credit card and credentials. It takes a moment to get set it up, get a mojito, and wait for the configuration completion. Now that you have a domain name, you can assign a server to it. So when you buy the hosting plan, you can either use an internal or external domain.
You have one domain name for free for 1 year with the plan, and you can connect that domain directly to the server. But I will explain you in a minute how you can do a multi-site, so use the server for different domain. Now here, I would say you can use the WordPress installation here, but I don't use it. I don't like it. I'd rather do everything manually, so I know that all my databases are on the same private database. The options that you can use here is without any module pre-installed. Keep the CDN basic. You don't need the other CDN unless you want to go for it, but I don't use them. And then the SSL SMCrypt, that's the minimum that you need. Once you are here, you can do next. And this is where things are a bit less clear. So here I can place a domain like a new domain.com. I can search for one. See, there's domains that you can buy. You can take a domain with it. But in the same time, if you already have the domain name, you can skip here, saltar este paso. It's skip that step. Then you go directly to the checkout. Why I wanted to show you, because it's not super clear. I will show you now how to attach a domain to the server.
To attach the domain. If you bought the domain after the server, you can always go to the server and add a domain. Then you will have a list, the same list with all your domains, and you can choose the one that you need to add to the multi-site. Same thing, Despacito, Mojito, Playa, Paciencia. You will have this beautiful artwork displayed on your domain when the server is properly set. Ensure your server meets WordPress WooCommerce requirements. Right now, I'm on PHP 8.1 and MySQL 8 with 1 GB of RAM.
For security purposes, you need to go on the server and regenerate the certificate so you have the SSL active for each domain.
Access the server with an FTP client. You can do this with FileZilla, which is compatible with Windows, Mac, and Unix. You can find it on filezilla-project.org. It's free and open source, so just get it and install it. Make sure to use SFTP and not FTP. The S stands for Secure File Transfer Protocol. Your host should be something like ftp.cluster followed by a number and ending with hosting.ovh.net. You can find it in the dashboard of your hosting plan on the tab FTP-SSH. Then, if not done yet, you need to create a user and set a password that will be the ones used for user and password in FileZilla. Make sure to use SFTP and not FTP. Sometimes the server is inaccessible directly. It might be due to charset settings. Go to the tab charset and use the option Force UTF-8. Once connected to your server, navigate to the root directory, should be www or any name of directory you use to connect the domain. In the preferences of FileZilla, you can set the editor you want to use by default. For me, it's Sublime Text. Move the installation files of WordPress into the server's root directory. Wait until everything is uploaded, then if you already have a database and credentials, all good. Otherwise, you will need to order a private database on a web cloud databases. I suggest using MySQL 8 and at least 1 GB of RAM. Once created, create a user and set a password. Make sure your user has actually access to the database. You can check that by clicking the 3 dots and choose Manage Rights. To create database fields, it needs to be on administrator. So keep it as is for the installation. But once your site is up and running, you can downgrade the admin rights to reading writing. Navigate to your website, connect the database using your credentials, then choose a title for your site. Just follow the wizard. Then click right on the file structure to modify config.php. That is your WordPress configuration file. That file, for security purposes, should be only readable and writable by you. Set the permissions to 600, so other users cannot read or overwrite your credentials. Activate SSL and change login URL. Before anything, to prevent major attacks and spam accounts, I would advise to install Really Simple SSL and WPS Hide Login. You can find them in Plugins, Add New. Just install them, but make sure to check the new login URL of the site. By default, it's wp-admin, and with WPS, it's just /login. Else, you can customize the login URL, then activate the plugin. So, install WooCommerce plugin. Go to Plugins, Add New, search for WooCommerce, and click Install Now. Activate the plugin after installation. Set up WooCommerce. Follow the setup wizard for WooCommerce. You'll configure settings like currency, shipping, payments, gateways, and so on. Before adding products, you will need to configure your physical address, which countries you want to sell and ship to, your taxes, calculations, currency. So take the time to discover all the options. Two important tabs are shipping and payments. The shipping tab is where you can set your regions, shipping methods, and rates depending on the product weight, dimensions, and other conditions like total cart amount. Not everything is there by default, but plugins can add functionalities you need. It all depends on your requirements. You can use services like Packlink Pro that will automate most of the calculation and shipping label process for you. Be careful though to set it up properly, because that can also backfire in many ways. The Payment tab is where you can set up your payment gateway. You can use the Woo Payments, but I prefer to use Stripe, which has more or less the same options integrated in one place. And eventually PayPal, as that's a major international payment method and many customers use Venmo and pay later in the US. You don't need to actually choose one or the other. You can have different payment gateways activated in the same time. Now let's add a product. In WooCommerce and e-commerces in general, you will find simple products, which are products that don't have any variation, like same color, same specs, same everything. You can set an available quantity and the price, add some pictures, and you're good to go. Then you have variable products that are products with any sort of variation in size, color, material, weight, dimensions, specs like hardness or other options, and obviously price. You will have to set options for each variable. And to speed up your workflow, you can set variable by default in the product attributes. Set a variable name, then add terms to it. Terms are like options you can choose from. They will appear in the drop-down menu on the product page. When your terms are all set, create a variable product and assign the relevant attributes and terms. Set a price and quantity for each variant. And don't forget to save your changes. Your product should now be available on the shop page. Get the right theme. Choose a WooCommerce compatible theme for your store. I personally use Avada, which costs a little €69 on ThemeForest, but you can use whatever you like. Just know that you will see Avada quite a lot if you follow my tutorials. To get it up and running, you can either get in the Appearance Themes sections of your dashboard, or you can upload the themes files. For Avada, we have to use the later option and get files uploaded. Once files are ready, just activate the child theme, not the main one. The child theme allows us to update the theme without disrupting modifications done previously on the site. You may lose hours of work by not using the child theme, so be cautious. And now, test your store. Find your product, check the checkout process, and so on. Get familiar with the site workflow. Once you understand how it works, then you can start to optimize and customize. For the payment, you should have test credentials you can use to avoid real transactions. You can also try the entire process as a simple user. Log out from the admin panel and create a fake user account. Go through the entire experience and see what will need to be customized or fixed. Install WordFence. Now that your system is up and running, you can install WordFence to prevent attacks that could modify your files and leak information. You can get it in Plugins, Add New. You just have to activate it and make sure the .ht access is properly set, which should be the case by following instructions. If you don't find the .ht access, it might be because you need to show the hidden files on your server, so in FileZilla. compliance with GDPR. So, I can't and won't give you any legal or financial advice, but there's a law called in Europe GDPR, in UK it's GDPR UK. There's also equivalent in other parts of the world, and basically you need to comply with it. A good start is to install Compliance GDPR Cookie Consent. You can find it in Plugins Add New. Just install it, activate, and follow the wizard. So let me know if that video has been helpful and how I can improve it. And if you want more videos like this, leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget we give private lessons one-to-one. You can find all the links on digitweaks.com. Link also in the description. So that's it. Following these instructions, normally your WooCommerce should be up and running. If you have more questions, feel free to leave a comment, and see you for the next one. Peace.